Hi, and welcome to today's class of Vedic astrology. So, today we will be understanding about a very important concept and a very talked about concept that many people want to have an understanding about. Many people wants to, you know, many people seeks guidance, Vedic astrological guidance or any kind of astrological guidance in order to find out whether this aspect of their life will work or not work. So, the topic that we will be learning today is the success of love affairs, the success of romantic relationships, the success of love relationships. All right. So, where the success will be achieved in this area of life, that we will be learning how we will be able to analyze and interpret from a particular Lagna chart whether this particular area of an individual, whether this will be success or not. That is love affairs, romantic relationships, love and romance. So, to order to understand this particular aspect, two houses are very important. One is the fifth house of a Lagna chart, and another one is the ninth house. The most important, if you ask me, I from these two, the most important, if I have to pick one, that is the primary house that needs to be absolutely great in order for this particular area, that is love and romance, to be success, is the fifth house. All right. So, what should not happen? So, if you understand, if you see a Lagna chart, certain things should not happen if you want to tell that individual, or if you want to guide that individual to follow that particular path, or if you want to tell that individual that yes, this particular area in love and romance, you will definitely see a success. So, for that, what are the conditions that should not be met? First of all, let's understand, I'm giving you all the below conditions in order to understand that love and romance or love affairs, relationships will be a success. In order for those things to be a success, the following things should not happen, all right, in that individual's Lagna chart. The Lord of the fifth house should not be placed in bad houses, all right. The Lord of the fifth house should not be debilitated. The Lord of the fifth house should not have bad degrees, especially 0, 1, 2, 28, 29, means the powerless degrees. The Lord of the fifth house should not be ast because of sun, should not get combust. Also, the Lord of the ninth house should not be placed in bad houses. The Lord of the ninth house should not be debilitated. The Lord of the ninth house should not have bad degrees. Similar to the fifth house, what I had said, 0, 1, 2, 28, 29 should not have such powerless degrees. The Lord of the ninth house should not be ast or should not be combust. Also, Maraka planet for that particular individual's Lagna chart should not be placed in the fifth house. Means in the fifth house, there should not be any placement of Maraka planets. And the drishti of Maraka planets should also not completely ruin the good aspects of the fifth house. So these are the things. If neither of these things are happening, then it is a sure shot thing. It is a probability is there, a very good amount of tendency is there that yes, in love and relationships, that individual will be completely satisfied, will find a satisfaction, will find a purpose, a meaningful purpose in their love and relationship affairs. All right. It will be helpful for that individual's overall life. But none of these things should happen. That's why I said it should not happen. It should not happen. If any of such things are happening, suppose the fifth house lord is badly placed, or the fifth house lord is debilitated, or the fifth house lord is getting combust because of sun, or if the fifth house lord is having bad degrees, or bad planets, marka planets are placed in the fifth house, or marka planets are giving their aspects in the fifth house. So similar conditions happening with the ninth house also. Any of these things are happening, then definitely I will not say it will be a failure, because then it will depend how much of these conditions are getting met. The more the number of negative aspects happening, the more chances for that particular individual's love and affair area will be troublesome. But if some of these things are happening, then there will be certain hurdles, certain obstacles that individual will face in their love and romance. Ultimately, whether it will be a success or not, that we have to understand again by seeing the overall horoscope. But I have given you the major important points in order to understand whether love, romance, love affairs, and everything will be a success for that individual's life or not. Whether it will be advisable for that individual to pursue, areas of their life which involves love and romance and love and affairs. All right. So, because see, ultimately it's all about that individual's mental health. So why we say this? See, everyone or every individual will want some kind of romance, love and romance to happen in their life. Every youngsters, or every youth, or irrespective of the age, many people they desire for that. Now we have to understand, see, Vedic astrology is all about giving a practicality to that individual's life, making that individual follow certain guidance and certain steps, so that that individual will lead a life with a proper well-being, emotional, mental, and overall. So that is why I am also teaching Vedic astrology. That is why I also practice Vedic astrology, so that I can give certain recommendations to people, I can counsel people, I can consult with people, and I can, if required, I can, do, I always, incorporate certain psychological tips and tricks or psychological remedies also, whether it is therapeutic or just simple counseling. It depends on certain situations. So the ultimate objective is to enable that individual to lead a life, healthy life, meaningful life, purposeful life, a life with a direction. So leading a life happily should not be about temporary satisfaction. It should be sustainable satisfaction. Obviously, with age, with maturity, people themselves realize that the importance of sustainable happiness. So that's why I'm coming back to the topic of love and romance. People should understand that whatever they are currently getting themselves into, will it give them just temporary satisfaction, or is it creating a meaningful direction in their life that will ultimately make them happy in a sustainable way? Because some people, if they try to find out temporary satisfaction, and if there are certain problems, I'm giving you that certain things that are happening, whatever conditions I had said that should not happen, but is happening in that individual's life, that individual will face troubles, right, in that particular area that he or she is undertaking. And those trouble will ultimately affect their mental and emotional health. And when their mental and emotional health gets affected, that will be redirected to many areas of their life. It might affect their career, it might affect their personal life, family life, etc., etc. And why then the individual wants to, foretake or go to such a journey which is not advisable for them? That's why, as practitioners of Vedic astrology, we understand, after analyzing and interpreting a Vedic horoscope chart in detail, that certain areas which might not work for them, because as per Vedic astrology, as per our understanding and science and knowledge and skill of Vedic astrology, it is reflecting that it will not be happening well for them. Suppose, again coming back to this particular example, many of these particular conditions are happening which should not happen is happening. All right. So we still understanding this, we still cannot tell that individual, okay, whatever you want to do, you do. Then why he or she is approaching us for help? Why he or she is taking professional consultation from us? So that we will be able to tell them what is good for them and what is not good for them. All right. Then obviously we are not telling them to completely stay away. This thing will not happen. No. For that, they need to do certain kind of astrological remedies, Vedic astrological remedies. That is very important because it is understood that in everybody's horoscope, 100% thing will not be nice. That I have never seen and I have never heard of, right? 100% everything is nice. There are certain problems, but everybody takes care of those problems so that they are not bothered by it. So our approach and our understanding and our efforts is to make them realize what are the things which will not naturally work well for them because it is getting reflected in their horoscope. But in order for them to make those things work, they need to do certain karma, they need to put certain efforts. And efforts are all about Vedic astrological remedies. If an individual needs to chant Bij mantras, that individual needs to chant the Bij mantras, right? Just if I tell them and they listen and they from one ear they're listening and from the other ear they are just emptying our in our suggestions and recommendations out, then how it will help them? They are still remaining the same. So our advice is that your efforts are also important if you want to convert a negative into positive, because negatives will be there, right? Life is a combination of having negative things and positive things. Everything cannot be positive, but our efforts mainly lies when we are able to convert that negative into positive with our willpower, with our mental strength, with our determination, with our empowerment, with our motivation. And if you come to the world of Vedic astrology, following certain Vedic astrological remedies. So that individual needs to do all of these things, right? The individual needs to do the dan if it is required. The individual needs to chant the Bij mantras if it is required, or XYZ, whatever they are suggested to do. So if an individual does that, naturally what would have been troublesome, after a certain period of time, they would see certain good things happening in that particular areas of their life. So naturally what they were supposed to be troubled, or suppose if they would have pursued it, possibility and probability was that there would have been certain troubles affecting their life. If they follow certain remedies, those troubles has a high probability and a high possibility of fading away. So they want to pursue something and they want to get success in that particular something, right? So whatever we pursue, people who are matured, people who are purposeful in their pursuits, they vision success. So in order to achieve that success, everybody wants to lead a very positive and a very optimistic lifestyle. So all of these things will help you into finding that optimism, finding that positivity in your pursuits. So the success which you are desiring to get, you will get it. All right. So hurdles and obstructions will be there. It is there in everybody's life, but it is through our efforts that we are able to overcome our hurdles and our struggles. So Vedic astrology is all about directing you to what efforts you need to take in order to overcome your life's hurdles and struggles. So I had explained to you in detail about what are the conditions that should not happen if you want to understand in a particular individual's life. Love and romance will naturally be a success, will naturally bring them happiness. They will not be finding too much of emotional mental turmoil. See, it will not be when I say it will be a complete happiness, I'm not saying that it will be like going like completely it will be completely sinus money, completely it will be always at its peak. Human emotions sometimes they feel low, sometimes they feel high, but that is not a problem. Whenever I'm saying that some of these conditions, if they are getting met, some of these negative conditions, if they are getting met, I'm just not talking and referring about small emotional mental turmoil. That will depend upon the intensity of such inauspicious things happening in that particular individual's horoscope. But whatever I'm saying is, whenever I say it's a natural success, I say that it will not create much disturbance in their life. It will be a smooth thing. So even in a day, right, even if you go out to your work, you come back, everything is not completely smooth, right? Sometimes you might have quarrels with somebody else, but that doesn't mean that it's bad, right? It's just that you had a low moment. All right, so these things are very natural, but that's why this natural things will happen in everybody's life. But if individuals where none of these conditions are getting met, means all of these things are means positive, whatever I had discussed in today's video, none of these things are happening, means the fifth house and the ninth house in that individual's Lagna chart are very positive. Then naturally that individual will find success in their love and romance, and that individual will not face much problems in their life because of their decisions related to these particular areas. All right, so this is what I wanted to mean, this is what I wanted to teach, and this were the conditions which a practitioner of Vedic astrology needs to understand, needs to check in order to analyze, in order to interpret, in order to come to a conclusion that whether for this particular individual love and romance will be a success or not, naturally. So suppose if it is not a success, some of the negative things are happening in that individual's horoscope chart. Might be with the fifth house, might be with the ninth house. But again, I'm saying fifth house is the most important house in order to check whether love, romance, love affairs will work or not, naturally. But ninth house also needs to be checked, all right, in order to have a complete understanding about the overall, stature of this particular area of that individual's life. Now, what are the remedies that an individual needs to do in order to overcome their challenges that they will be facing because of certain negative conditions happening in their horoscope related to the fifth house and the ninth house? Now, suppose what if Maraka planets are getting placed in the fifth house, then for those Maraka planets in that individual's Lagna chart, that individual must do dan during those planets' Mahadasha or Antardasha. If the Lord of the fifth house or the ninth house is Maraka itself, then also the same thing applies for that, but those planets also. Dan is essential to be done. Bij mantra should also be done for those Maraka planets. Especially if the Lord of the fifth house is Maraka, then Bij mantra for that particular Lord of the fifth house should be done till Siddhi is attained for that Lord of the fifth house by chanting the Bij mantras for a specific number of times. And how to attain and achieve Siddhi for a particular planet? By chanting Bij mantras. I have explained about this particular topic in detail in one of my previous classes. And suppose the Lord of the fifth house is Yoga Karka, but degree wise it's not that strong. The Lord of the fifth house is Yoga Karka and well placed too, but degree wise suppose it's quite powerless or not that efficient enough. So in that particular situation, you can definitely wear, or that individual can definitely wear the gemstone, the Vedic astrological gemstone for that particular planet, which is the Lord of the fifth house. All right. And always remember, the Lord of the fifth house also is your Isht Dev. The God representing the Lord of the fifth house becomes your Isht Dev. So even if you offer your prayers, offer your devotions with complete heart, with an open heart, pure mind, and with complete faith and with devotion, then also aspects related to your fifth house improves. All right. So this thing you should also remember and keep in your mind. So this is what I wanted to talk about: love affairs, romance, romantic relationships in an individual's life, and how to check whether that will be a success or not. What are the conditions that needs to be fulfilled? All right. And what are the Vedic astrological remedies that an individual should keep in mind if in case he or she finds out that yes, there are some troubles pertaining to their fifth house or ninth house. So I hope you are watching all of my classes, all of my Vedic astrological classes in detail, like starting from class 1 to class 2, then class 3, and so on and so forth. Even if you miss one particular class, you will miss out on a lot of content. You will miss out on an entire topic, because each of my class is dedicated to a particular topic of Vedic astrology. Extremely useful, extremely beneficial, and moreover accurately discussed in detail, discussed very properly, and discussed in a practical way, all right, using real time examples or using proper examples. So keep on watching my classes over and over again. Practice my classes till you are absolutely confident in that particular topic, and then you proceed to the next class. All right. So that's what I wanted to discuss, teach, share in today's class. Before you before you say goodbye for today, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, like my videos, share my videos. And if you have any doubts, any queries, any questions related to the topics of Vedic astrology, that is whatever I am posting in my YouTube channel, please share them in the comment section, and I will definitely try to resolve your doubts, your queries, your questions. All right. Take care, and I will see you in the next class.